Well, it looks like the major media is throwing a real tantrum because Britain has exercised its right to exit the European Union. They voted to get the hell out of the European Union. And this is a statue of Diana Dors, by the way, the 1950s British bombshell that I think was actually superior to Marilyn Monroe. And Britain needs to go back to its native roots again, right? British blonde bombshells. Anyway, the BBB, right? And so they're out of the freaking European Union. The way the vote went, more or less, well, it was not like really. Well, you know where it was really a landslide. The older, the older the Britain people, the population was, the more they voted to get the hell out. The younger population wanted to stay in, which goes to tell you, younger don't know better than older a lot of times. Depends on what the hell it is. Anyway, yeah, well, you know what it is. It's called media propaganda. The major media was for all keeping in the European Union. The older British really know what's going on. So if Diana Dors was alive today and young and all that, she would be voting to get the hell out. So she would have been a rallying point. That's what I would have said. Yeah, save the blondes, especially the British ones and hot ones. So they're out. They're out. Now, I'm going to throw something out here because, man, Mr. and Mrs. YouTube, don't get all bent out of shape because I don't really know about this shit. I'm going to actually tell you, I got a little bit of a conspiracy theory here because, it's almost like Darth Vader's getting pissed off, right? Britain's over there thinking, they're all safe now. They're out of the freaking woods. They're going to be. Well, you see what happened with the market, too, right? All the markets are going down. That's bullshit for crying out loud. Britain's got out. Yeah, nobody's doing that. And also, all you need is the algorithms and the web bots that are trading with each other to start a trend, and then all the other people jump on that trend. It's not really effective. Nobody really gives a rat's ass, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? It's like a freaking game, so the major media's gonna say, "Oh, see, it's Britain's like went on a bad course now." And Britain's thinking, "Well, hell with you, man. We're all safe here, sitting on a freaking our bed with our teddy bear. We ain't got no problems." Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna present something that's a little bit of conspiracy theory. Actually, this is not from a YouTube. I know it's got a little thing on the bottom here, but it's from the webcam on 2011. Remember back? I think it was May 2011 when Japan had its tsunami. You remember that deal? You know, now I've been doing this for years, and I wish I PDF'd the articles back then. And I did this on another video, but I'm almost thinking, really, I don't think anybody's going to say this on YouTube, and I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, it is going down a freaking rabbit hole pretty deep about, what could possibly happen. But I remember when Japan freaking had that tsunami. I also remember this. You remember back, I'm repeating something here I did on another video, but, I think what Britain did is even more freaking pissing off Darth Vader than what Japan did back in 2010 that led to 2008 to 2010 that led to 2011 tsunami. You remember what happened with Genepacks? Genepacks, when we had the fuel prices going up. They had a car in Japan. It was a little freaking little car. It was like a 550cc jobber. It ran on water, basically. It didn't really run on water, but actually you put any kind of liquid that contained water in it, and it had this electrolysis method that can officially take the hydrogen out of water because, hydrogen is 2 parts oxygen, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, right? The car don't really run on water per se. It runs on a hydrogen split that's taken from the water. Cars run on hydrogen, you know that, right? Well, they had this operational vehicle. Well, the thing is, I wish I PDF'd the article, but I'm showing this volcano over here for a reason with this big light on it. And what happened was, in this article that I read, I swear to God I read it, it was kind of like an automotive article, that Mitsubishi and a lot of other major manufacturers of cars in Japan were going to come out with cars running on this water to hydrogen process. That's really what it is. The car ran on hydrogen, but you just put water in it and splits it off, right? You heard this stuff for a long time from Stanley Miner, right? Well, you know what that would have done? They were going to put the luxury cars out. They weren't even going to put out these little 550cc cars. They're going to put luxury cars out with this stuff because they figure the people that buy luxury cars, they won't mind spending another $5,000 on having this technology. people that could just barely afford a card, they'd have a problem. So they're going to put it out in the luxury cars, the big Japanese car manufacturers. And what I realized with that, if that happened and that spread, goodbye petrodollar, man, because what the hell's going on? What's going on? How's the dollar being supported, right? Now I'm leading up to something here, right? I mean, he's going down, but you know what? I ain't stupid. It's like I'm not making up a theory here, but it's like a possibility, and I hope I'm not giving nobody any ideas. But the thing is, it would have brought down the dollar. In other words, if all cars started being able to run on hydrogen, and who was that actor Weaver out there? I think the one that used to be on McCloud. He's a big proponent of that in California. In California, they don't even let you run the cars on hydrogen out there. They get pain in the ass, right? They should be, because California's got pollution, right? Now I'm leading up to something. What I'm saying is, when they were going to do this, that would have destroyed the freaking petrodollar completely, right? There's been other things, even at the Kobe earthquake, was due to like Kobe producing electronics that were doing way better than our junk too. That was another thing. But let me just get on with this. When they did that, the USA would have realized, hey, cars powered that don't need oil would mean less demand for oil, and no demand for oil practically, and therefore all the oil money that is being bought and traded in dollars is going to decrease the demand for dollars, and the dollar would collapse, because basically it's the petrodollar. Now, I saw this article. Japan was going to do that. And you know what got hit by the tsunami the most? One of the biggest areas? Japanese automotive industry. But this was picked up on this webcam, and this is a real thing, because I saw this way back in 2011. You can look for it. See, on YouTube, they'll call it a UFO alien bullshit. It's not UFO alien. It's freaking some kind of high-tech weapon bullshit. And this was going on down at the base of the volcano. It's not. Sometimes they had these things that were like this, that looked like this in the city, and it was actually a utility plant that exploded due to flooding. But this was not that. It was an orb that was growing slowly while this volcano was going off in Japan in the earthquake. And if you actually look at Vladimir Zhirinovsky in Russia, he bragged that Russia did it, but I think the U.S. did it, to tell you the truth, over the petrodollar. So Britain, you better watch your ass, man. Half your island may fucking sink in a damn ocean. I'm telling you right now. And I've seen some other bullshit from way back when that predicted that. And now I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about Japan. I'm thinking, who the hell knows? But anyway, gold is reigning supreme. I want to throw that in here, man. I know the powers that be in YouTube are probably not going to like that, but I'm not doing it for attention. I'm doing it because I think it's the correct actual possibility. When you're dealing with freaking powers like what you're dealing with, man, don't go jumping for joy right away. You just piss somebody off, man. And if they got the way to freaking nail you, they'll nail you. They'll nail you. Like, I realize when I'm saying shit out here, it ain't safe. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so gold has actually done very well, over this. Also, the currencies themselves, like the dollar, got a lot stronger over this when Britain exited the European Union. So the cat is the gold cat over here with the golden eyes. You can see the future. The future is gold. Actually, when everything... See, this deal actually showed, and I think the vote was far more lopsided than they really put on there. I think the vote was way lopsided, man. I think, like the older people, instead of like 60-40, they're probably like 90-10. The young people might have been leaning towards exiting the European Union instead of like 60% for staying in. I think the damn vote was rigged, but despite it being rigged, there were so many people in Britain wanting to get the hell out of it. They did it, They did it. So I think the only way freaking Britain's going to come out now is to freaking go to cottage industry. And, you can't think about all the freaking pseudo-psychedelic numbers these jackasses are throwing at you. If you could create, that's why I'm showing mushrooms. Like the freaking major media is going to be saying, the numbers of this and the numbers of that. Well, you know what? If you could create your own stuff, you're cool. Like now I'm thinking about, I like getting some tools and stuff, even though, I'm an accountant, right? But, I guess, I was like, got an account. I have an accounting degree from way back, and even I have besides a dual major. I got a major in mathematics and accounting. When I went to school a long time ago. But when I was going to school, I was also doing car work. To help pay for my college, right, and other stuff like that, minimum wage jobs. But let me tell you this, like a lot of ways, sometimes I think the car work that I learned is more important than what I learned in school sometimes. And that's why there's different types of education. When it comes right down to it, what you create that's actually physical, that helps you, is more important than fancy charts and words and all that other bullshit. Because, right now, the major media is going to be eating the psychedelic mushrooms, telling you a lot of crap that the economy's bad and all that kind of crap. You know what? If you're in Britain and you hear this stuff and you're realizing, hey, well, I think you're in danger, man. I think I'm in danger. But, that's just how I am. I'm a little paranoid sometimes because that's the way you stay alive, right? But, I don't know. I don't know. But, me putting this out here ahead of time, some shit happens like some freaking part of the island of Britain has an earthquake and it falls into the water, I don't know. If some shit like that happens, I'm going to say the freaking Darth Vader bastards and Illuminati did it or something, because I think they got the weapons to do it. Not blowing pixie dust at you right here now. I don't know. I don't know if they could do something like that, but I'm almost dead certain that crap with Japan, with the tsunami and earthquake and a volcano and Fukushima, was a whole freaking setup. I'm dead certain on that. You say I'm a conspiracy theorist. Sorry, man. I almost hate putting it out here because it's going too far, because most people would not say that. I'm the guy that when I saw 911, I said bullshit from like when it was going on. Get the hell out of here. I didn't need nobody to convince me. And today people still aren't convinced, but a lot of people are. That's not going too far down. Radical. And Mr. and Mrs. YouTube, don't find this freaking unfriendly for me, because I'm really not trying to scare people, because, man, I just know how some people think, man. They don't give a rat's ass. They're gonna go for the jugular if they can, and I think they got the power to do it. But we're gonna be blowing pixie dust up everybody's wazoo like now with this deal, because they're gonna be saying, that Britain's made a bad decision. Britain's gonna do this. Britain was gonna freaking fall apart now, and get the hell out of here, man. But they're gonna do everything they can to freaking screw up Britain, But what's going on? The major media's having a freaking tantrum. Anyway, get yourself some mini mills and shit like that. Make you some old style crossbows and shit, medieval weapons. Stuff that you used to use back when you're knights of old. Protect yourself from crime. Anyway, and I tell you one thing I think really is going to happen up in Britain now, and also the USA Northeast, because I'm a guy that actually believes like we should take care of our environment. I don't believe we need to pay a global carbon tax, but we should take care of our environment. But I know they're blowing this freaking climate change, freaking global warming stuff at us left and right. In reality, it's going to look really stupid especially not last winter we had a record storm, and one big storm, but it wasn't really super cold, and generally in the United States. This next upcoming winter, the winter after, all the way up to 2020, and actually the bottom is going to be in about 2030s or maybe 2060s. But for the next few years, we're coming into there's different cycles of cold. What I'm saying is, where you're going to have a hardship possibly in Britain, where it's also going to be global hardship. We're getting in such colder climate overall that the crops are going to be costing more money because there's going to be shorter growing seasons. That's going to affect your disposable income because you'll be paying more money for food and you'll be paying more money for heat. So bear down, get tough. I'm on your side, Britain. Wish he was up there. So, it's like when I hear this kind of shit that's going on in Britain, it's like I want to go down there and start building some shit, cutting down some trees and stuff, building some houses or something, and, making something and getting tough, But, I'm freaking 3,000 something miles away, so I'm forget about it, right? But let me put it to you this way. I realize that they're going to psychologically, they're going to try to freaking make make it that you did the wrong decision. And they're going to put all this bullshit out, and it's almost like you're going to have to go back to really old school cottage industry all the way. And beware, one of the things actually that's going to affect us in the USA and actually globally, and you in Britain, is we're going to have an extra cold winter. It's going to affect your economy. It's going to affect how much disposable income you have because of heating. Also, the shorter growing season is going to cause more rise in prices of food. And I'm not painting doom and gloom. I'm just telling you, man, giving you a heads up, right? Because that's the other game these yo-yos are trying to do: push global government with global carbon tax, right? We don't want that. And if they have a global government, it ought to be weak as shit, and they ought to have a Bill of Rights like in the USA. But I think gold is going to be doing pretty damn good now because of this kind of stuff that's going on. You might see the Netherlands get the hell out of the European Union. You might see, I don't know, France get out, Germany get out, Italy get out, Spain get out, and all get out. Um, you know, European Union it's actually the European Union is not necessarily a bad idea in itself, you know, but you know what's going on. The people that actually put forth that idea are a bunch of crooked scammers. That's what it is. It's like, people got no voice in the damn thing. It's a bunch of bureaucrats just want to run it. Hey, we get it, we suck off all the gravy, and you guys freaking starve. You peasants die. That's what it is. It's not like it's such a freaking bad concept if it was done a totally different other way. But it's like, you know, I guess when you give somebody any kind of power, or you get any kind of too much power that's centralized, even in the USA, we're supposed to have, the United States, we're not supposed to be like so super centralized in Washington, D.C. Not supposed to be like that. I know in Britain now they're going to be saying Ireland's going to exercise in more of its rights, and saying, and also Scotland, whatever. I mean, you don't need super strong centralized power. You should have more power to the local people. Then that's the way it should be everywhere. Doesn't mean you don't have to have any centralized power at all, but it ought to be weak. And it's probably going to bring us all more closer back to the gold standard, which is, it makes things tough in some ways because it makes people like actually stick with true production of goods and services, not money fluff. That's kind of like what the gold standard does. And actually, I'd like to see Diana's Doors picture on a gold thing. I dub her the new Queen of England, man, the Queen of UK, man, Diana Doors. She's got a pretty cool statue of her out there. So that'd be a pretty good one. You put on the gold coin, and again, I got to tell you, like freaking, Britain is going to have to watch out because they're going to pull something. They ain't gonna freaking sit by and say, "Oh, we're gonna let you we're just gonna let this slide. You won." And the only way you're gonna, I don't want to say nothing, honey, but the only way you win is like, you storm the freaking, you resigned, like Cameron. You resigned. Good. You're on a boat. It's got a hole in it, and we're putting you out to sea. Or you know what I mean, all the other guys that are behind it. That's kind of like what's going to have to be if it freaking really is the deal. So, anyway, that's just like that's what I'm saying about this. And in the back of my head, I keep thinking about Japan, and I know why Japan got nailed. They came up that Genepac's deal was gonna, it was gonna go into the major freaking car manufacturers. I know today you look at it. Well, where is the technology? Where's the double-blind studies? Yeah, and I ain't no conspiracy theorist, and I mock conspiracy theorists, and I don't listen to freaking 99%. I actually put stuff out that most of the people that are on the alternative media are disinformation guys. I'm not. I'm not working for nobody. All right? So, I mean, I don't know what the hell to tell you, man. I just hope I'm wrong about that shit about, them doing something to Britain like was done to Japan. I don't think that was natural, okay? I'm dead certain it wasn't, okay? I mean, when you looked at that webcam, whatever the hell it was from the volcano, this was like, this is not actually a YouTube copyrighted bullshit thing. This is actually off the freaking public webcam, and that was going on at the bottom of the volcano. To me, that's the smoking gun, that some shit was going on. This was not a natural phenomenon. It was like a little orb that started growing, growing, growing. You could search for it. It says it's like a disinformation thing today because they call it UFO alien presence or some shit. Hey, it had nothing to do with that. That was going on when they had the freaking thing with the tsunami in Japan. What the hell's this light? It's a high-tech weapon, damn it. What are you kidding me? And you got Vladimir Zhirinovsky, claiming that Russia did it. They did that to Japan. They could sink the whole island. And I'm thinking to myself, well, actually, supposedly that was one of the threats that went on with Japan. If you ever freaking come out and use this Genepax technology in your major in like Nissan, Mitsubishi, Toyota, and all that kind of crap, they use the freaking Genepax technology, and they don't use oil to run, gasoline to run their cars. They use hydrogen split from water. You think they won't do that to Britain? I don't know. Actually, you know why this is clicking in my mind? I saw some prediction a long time ago about the Proud Island, part of it falling into the ocean. I don't know if this is going to happen. Hope I'm freaking wrong. Cause I am like, I tell you the truth. My great grandfather was the illegitimate son of Duke Albert Edward. Yeah, that's on my mom's side. On my father's side, I actually got I got like real English lineage. That's we were English going all the way back to the 1600s. Even though we were in the Revolutionary War, we fought against you redcoats. And even though we were Confederates and fought against the North, we're still English. We're still English. And I look back, I thought we were part Irish too. I said, no, we're not. I saw pretty much all English. And that was on my father's side. And I got some English from UK from my mom. From my great grandfather was the illegitimate son of Duke Albert Edward, who became Edward VII later on. And you can say that's bullshit, but I thought it was bullshit too. I wasn't sure. I've heard this story since I was small, and I was like, I didn't know what a duke was. I didn't know what British peerage was, to tell you the truth. And Americans aren't familiar with that. They remember the song "The Duke of Earl." They don't understand, and I didn't realize what a duke was. And I says, but then I start verifying a lot of other things about where he was traveling to, and him being in London, not speaking English, and his getting married in London, having children in London, being on the census in 1901 in Britain when after Queen Victoria died, and it kind of confirms all that story. And then where the source of the story, well, I didn't want to get into all that again because I put videos out on it. I feel like I got pretty strong feelings for Britain doing well. So, I don't wish no ill will. Just that, I don't know, something happens, I don't know. What the hell happens, I don't know. We'll find out. But in the meantime, the kitty cat, represented by the lion, the lion, the kitty cat of Britain, is doing fine. They're all independent. And the golden fur and the golden eyes is representing gold. Going back to the real golden standard, too. And probably ought to have them minted with the golden hair Diana Dors. For the blonde bombshell from the 50s, man. To me, that's number one. She should have took a lot of vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C, and vitamin D with K2, and other herbs, and she probably would have been still alive today and super hot. So that's the kind of British you really want. Yeah, that's my preference anyway. So there you go. Kind of my own style of update. So I just hope everything goes well, because I realize you pissed off Darth Vader. Maybe you need Sir Francis Drake again. You know what I'm saying? Here we go.